Well, we practiced it. There we go.
Hello.
All right. I'm here with Christopher Smith from Texas.
The one and only.
One and only, yep. Who is going to be the proud recipient someday of a Let's Mess with Texas sticker from me.
I've been waiting for that.
I know. It's coming. It's coming. And somehow wandered around the world. How old are you?
30.
30.
Yeah.
Hasn't wasted his youth yet.
Trying not to.
And somehow ended up here in McCall as a ski patroller for the last 4 years. So we're going to investigate how a boy from Texas ends up in Idaho and why I even hang out with him, because he's from Texas. So that's another question. Let's figure that one out.
That's a fair point.
All right. So anyway, Fort Worth?
Fort Worth.
Yep.
Born and raised, did the classic, stereotypical Texas thing. Grew up hunting, fishing, and then Texas football. Was a vacation skier. I loved it the whole time growing up, but never.
Where'd you guys ski? Colorado?
Yeah, skied Crested Butte mostly, and then Red River, New Mexico was a popular spot.
Where's Red River, New Mexico?
Kind of like north central New Mexico.
But not Tahoe.
It's in the area.
It is.
It's
okay.
near Angel Fire, Taos.
Angel Fire. I've skied Angel Fire.
Yeah, it's pretty close to Angel Fire. I mean, relatively.
Yeah.
So.
I flew into Albuquerque one time for a trade show in October or November or something, and I saw this billboard that said Ski Angel Fire.
Yeah.
Ski Albuquerque.
Yeah.
And that's the closest to Albuquerque, right? I think.
I think. Yeah, either that or Ski Santa Fe is. I'm not sure which one.
Okay, I think it was definitely Angel Fire. So I didn't have any clothes. Wasn't planning on skiing. Went up there
Warm
in a
as all get
t-shirt,
out.
in a t-shirt and sweatshirt. Rented skis. Skied a whole afternoon. Had the time of my life. Then had to go back to work. It was awesome. It was pretty steep too. Like Angel Fire was
New Mexico
actually
is
steep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Red River is probably the steepest one out there that I've skied.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? All right. So you skied those resorts, and then as a youngster.
Yep.
And then
I was actually a snowboarder back then.
Were you really?
Yeah.
I was a snowboarder once.
Yeah, I hated it.
Really?
Not really. It was fun, but I don't know. Once I picked up skiing, it just makes more sense playing baseball and football. My life facing forward instead of sideways.
Yeah.
It just felt more natural, more fun.
I was a snowboarder. I was a skier when I lived in Colorado, and then when we moved back to Ohio, the 728 feet of vertical, of which you could only ski 500, was boring. So we picked up snowboarding on ice, which was challenging.
Yeah.
But we got good at it. Then we skied it. We boarded a couple times at Vail during that time, and then I came out here. I boarded 2 days here at Brundage, and I was like, too many cat tracks. I went back to skiing. That was
Too
it.
many
I was
flats.
done. I was done. I was ruined. Brundage ruined me for snowboarding. So okay, so fast forward to college. We will say, why did you go to Alabama? Like, what was in Alabama?
Oh, that was a confusing time in my life. I thought that's what I wanted to do, and then
Would you study GIS?
Yeah, I studied GIS, Geographic Information Systems, and about my third year into college, I realized that Alabama wasn't like the place for me. I didn't enjoy the South anymore because I had the taste of the mountains and all this, and that was always in the back of my mind. But yeah, I did GIS. I did a desk job after college for like 8 months doing urban and regional planning.
Where was that at?
That was back in Texas.
In Fort Worth, back home?
Near Fort Worth, like a suburb of there, and just doing private land development.
So like you did what you're supposed to do. You got the degree.
Yeah.
And it was a good degree.
Yeah.
You probably had a good job.
Yeah, pretty good job.
I mean, it had some potential.
Yeah.
Right?
And
back when then GIS was blowing up, right? All the cities were just getting into it.
Yeah.
Right?
Technology kind of boomed off in that field, and my dad and my mom as well, but mostly my dad was, college, job, family, boom, go on from there and do the classic American thing. And then it all started when my oldest brother quit his big banking job in Dallas and then went and became
Where'd he go to school?
University of Texas.
See.
Yeah.
He at least.
And then, my oldest brother, he quit his big banking job in Dallas to become a sea kayak guide. I think he was probably 26.
So he stayed longer than 8 months, a couple years.
Yeah. He stuck with it a little bit longer, and then I was like, I just had a realization when I was looking at my three computer screens. I was like, oh my goodness, you can do that? And I'm 22 at the time, and I was like, well, I'm gonna quit and go live in the outdoors.
It is. Sit in here. We're learning about Chris.
I just had my soup.
Okay. Well,
No
good.
soup for you.
No soup for me. I
You
know.
ate it
I
all.
know. They don't let me eat anything but bratwurst in there. I don't know why, but I don't complain either. It's
He's a
pretty
big fan of the sausage.
good. Hey now,
All right.
go find those drinkers.
I'll find the cans.
Yeah, find the cans. Yeah. Yeah. Harold already stopped him and told him, I don't care, just don't litter.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I don't care what you do. Keep the trash off the ground.
Oh, I love that dude.
Yeah,
I pulled up to him next to him and I was like, what's going on? He's like, just taking in the sights. Like, okay, Harold. What else are you
Can't
gonna do?
complain about
I
that.
can't, yeah. All right, so your brother decided screw banking.
Yep.
How'd your parents take that? Did he pave the way for you a little bit?
Yeah, he definitely broke the ice, to say the least. So it was, he already ripped the Band-Aid off with my dad. My dad, he wasn't like, oh, I hate you, I'm going to disown you. He was just like, he was more worried that we weren't going to have a life to support ourselves or a future family.
How
But
far apart were you leaving your job and him leaving his job at the same time? Or
no, I'd probably say 5 months after he did that,
Yeah.
and I came to the realization that I could do that as well.
yeah, I remember you telling me once. Wait a minute, people can do that?
Yeah, exactly. I was sitting there staring at my screens. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm 22. I can do that.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah.
the rest was kind of history.
So what was the first? Is that when you went diving, or is that when?
Yeah, so I was a recreational diver, and that was my passion since I was 10. And then once my brother did that, and I realized you could go do the outdoor industry thing, I moved to a small island off the coast of Nicaragua, Big Corn Island, super weird name. And then that's where I started getting more of my upper certifications to teach and guide diving.
Had you done any international guide or dives? Where,
Yeah.
where did you dive when you were like first learning the golf? or what?
I got certified in Texas in this lake, but it's just like a muddy quarry.
Yeah.
And then after that is usually, being from Fort Worth, it's a straight shot to Central America anywhere,
Okay.
and Mexico. So throughout Central America and
So you've
Mexico.
been down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And how did you pick Big Corn?
I don't know. I
You just like the name?
yeah, I've always been like a nomadic type. Not nomadic where I just bounce around all the time, but I don't mind getting out of the comfort zone and traveling. And they actually had an internship program where I could go there, get paid, and they would also pay for my certifications. I just had to give them a certain amount of time that I'll work.
And how did you
for
find
them.
that? Was it this
Just online.
Just
Yeah.
search and
Yep.
crazy.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we get a lot of J1s that come here from Peru and stuff, and you don't think about, that seems normal, but
Yeah.
it works the same the other way, I'm sure,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little more uncommon because when I showed up to the island, I was like the only white dude there, and I was treated like a zoo object. People would stare at me, but we,
You still are, though.
Yeah. After a few months, we were all best friends and all that. And
Yeah.
it was all
Well, I
great.
remember, was that when you told me that living was cheap because you could go and you could, spearfish in the ocean and grab
Oh, yeah.
fruit off the tree, and you hardly had to go to the grocery store. And
Yeah, well, when we were there, the mainland of Nicaragua was having this civil unrest between the government and some other parties in the country, and they shut down all shipping and tore up roads and all this. So we had no supplies coming in. But the island is like a little tropical paradise. It has multiple types of avocado, mango. You can grow any fruit in the world. You dig a hole in the ground, it's filled with water, drinking water the next day.
drinking water.
Yeah, beautiful.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
right? Like 20 feet in from the ocean, the salt water will lap up, filter through the ground, and then fill the hole up with fresh water.
Really?
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't know that.
mind-blowing.
Is that unusual? That seems unusual for an island.
Not really. I mean...
Like all islands are like that?
I don't know about all islands, but almost every household near the water on this one island had...
Okay.
everyone like that was near it
That's
had
how
a
they had-
a
that's how
well.
they had their water.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So how long were you there?
Just about a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was next?
After that, I did some winter time in Colorado, where
Crested Butte?
I moved to Crested Butte to be a lift op,
Okay.
and
Always good training for life.
yeah, I mean,
You see it all.
yeah, definitely see it all types of people, all walks of life, and
What's going on, fellas?
How you doing, buddy?
cruising,
How are you?
and
Yeah, I didn't know this was the spot for employees.
yeah, I guess it is. I don't come here that often, but working there made me realize that I didn't want to lift up anymore, and I wanted to be a patroller because I was sitting there watching patrollers come down with 8 inches of powder on their skis. I was like, I need to do that. And it was always in the back of my mind.
So did you become a patroller there? Or did you
No,
not
I
until
worked
here?
up the ladder in lift ops and became like a supervisor, manager role, just to build the resume. And then, I did the switch between diving and skiing, summers to winters for about 4 years straight.
So you'd go back to Big Corn, and then you'd go back.
I did not go back to Big Corn. I moved to Mexico. I moved to like the Cancun, Playa del Carmen area for diving season, and then came back to Crescent Butte. Crescent Butte was the home base for winter, and then each time I went diving was a different place. So like after Mexico was Hawaii.
Oh wow, where?
Yeah.
Which island?
Kauai.
Oh really?
Yeah, I lived on the south side, and I actually skipped the winter working there. I worked there for a full year through just because I was having a blast working diving, and I got tied in with some good old boys, some Hawaiian boys there, and a couple transplants like myself who owned a fishing business, and I would do part-time work, fishing boat, and then most of the time I was diving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Lucas St. Clair and all those guys are there now.
Yeah, I never saw them there. I didn't know them yet, but
Yeah.
now they all live there, and
I
I'm pretty sure
they've
they're
had a
down in the
place
south
there.
side.
They've got a lot of long history. I think.
Yeah, extended family.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, what'd you learn from all that experience back? Like, you were at Crested Butte, and then did you come here, or did you go? Is that when you went? When did you go to Africa?
So I went to Africa in between my last diving job and coming here.
Okay. And what was the Africa thing? I think I just heard about that for the first time the other day.
Yeah, no, my brother and his wife, they're big adventurers. We've always been travelers throughout our whole life. That's why I was always comfortable with just moving to these random countries, never, and living in hostels and whatnot. But they invite me. They're like, hey, we're going to Uganda for a month and a half. You want to join?
They picked it out on the map. I mean, was there any?
Well, they had been to Botswana before,
Okay.
and the East African, Central African countries are all known for game drives, or what we call safaris.
Yeah.
And they did one in Botswana, and so
they liked it.
They loved it, and it's just a huge wildlife experience. And they invited me to go, and you just arrive there. It's very African. If you've never been to Africa, it's it makes sense. There's not many paved roads, and it's just very interesting countryside, and just like the way the social setup with all the people is just very interesting.
Yeah.
Land there where you rent a truck, and it's like a Toyota Tacoma, but a Toyota Hilux is the international version. It's a super nice diesel one, and there's 2 tents on top.
Okay.
And then Uganda is like the size of Minnesota, but again, no paved road, so it takes so long to get places. But anyways, what we did there
It's
is
hard to navigate too, like to know where you're
extremely,
at.
yeah, because your Google Maps doesn't work because they're just dirt trails basically you're driving down, and there's no
How does
street.
Google Translate work?
Not good. Well, most of them speak English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, luckily, being like one of the old British colonies, but yeah.
I went to Japan with my Google Translate set to Portuguese. It didn't work very well. And it took me like
They're just
3
looking at each
attempts.
other.
Oh yeah, it took me like 3 attempts to figure out. Oh wait a minute.
Oh, this is in Portugal? Yeah, no, they mostly spoke English for the most part. I mean, the further you get away from the education centers, obviously English was lacking, but never had a problem.
Yeah. Okay. So how long was that?
It was like a month and a half.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah,
that's where you got
overall.
malaria.
That is where I got malaria. Take the pills, people. Take the malaria pills. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Don't overthink it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely don't overthink it. Don't read the side effects label. Just take the pills. It's fine. The dreams are awesome.
The dreams are.
That's one of the main side effects is the malaria pills, man. They give you the most vivid dreams, like dreams where you're like conscious in them and you can control the dream. It's hard to explain until you do it. Like every single night you have cool dreams. That's awesome. It's very awesome. It's almost like a controllable hallucination to a point. Yeah.
All right, well, I'm just going to start taking malaria pills.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if you want to have some good, weird sleeps, it's the way to do it.
I don't know if good, weird sleep, that's 3 words that don't normally go together, but I get it, yeah. So were you guys on your own completely?
Yeah, so you can do it 2 ways. You can either hire a guide who drives you through the whole country, which is a fantastic option if you're not comfortable with Africa or third world countries in general, because you can get in some
Yeah.
into a mess if you're not careful. But we did the self-guided, so we're just driving around the country, and just like here, there's national parks, and within the national parks, it's just loaded with all sorts of animals. Some are more favorable to lions and hippos versus not tigers, but like elephants and all sorts of other big cats. So we just drive around, and then we camp for a few days in each national park, and you wake up each morning to do a game drive at sunrise. It's kind of like going hunting, but you're not shooting. And then you kind of drive through these dirt trails, game trails. You can't get out of the car, which I'm fine with, because
Yeah, they can eat you.
there's many things that can kill you out there, and they're not shy. And you just
And
go
when they
around.
come right up to the car and stuff, like were they like lions and stuff out there?
No, the lions were super hard to find just
Yeah.
because they're smart predators, and there's actually not that many of them. But like the water buffalo,
Yeah.
you'll be in huge herds of them. You pull up on a pond or a mud hole, and it's just littered with hippopotamus.
Yeah.
There's certain animals that aren't hard to find, but
Yeah.
then once you're there for a long time, you're like, all right, I've seen a bunch of giraffes, I've seen a bunch of elephants, I've seen all the
No, I
ones.
want to see something.
Yeah, so then we go and try to find, rare birds, maybe big cats. Like leopards are super hard to find because they're up in trees, and they're just super smart animals.
Right.
Hyenas are awesome.
Yeah, unless they're coming after you.
Yeah, yeah.
There's my boys.
Those
Coming
are
back from a beach ball.
wobbling into the door.
Okay, so all right, so you did the Africa thing.
Yep.
Did you also like kayak the Nile or something?
We river rafted the Nile, so right at
While
the...
you were there, same trip or what?
Yeah, same trip. It's how we started it. We landed in Entebbe, and then we went over to this place called Jinja, and it's just right north of Lake Victoria. And then, we rafted the Nile from there.
How long? It was like.
It was just a day trip.
Oh,
But
it was just a day trip. Okay, it wasn't like a month, like a grand.
No.
or
It
something.
was just a day trip. And some of the biggest rapids in the world, like they're not even on like the class 5 list.
They're
They're
above
above
them, yeah.
that. They're like class 6, just massive. Like you don't run these thinking that you're not gonna flip. Like your
Yeah.
boat flips every single time you're swimming.
Yeah.
It's not as rocky as American rivers, which is nice. So once you do
What about the
flip,
gators in there?
they said, the African
Or
dude's like,
crocodiles,
oh, no
right?
problem, it's all good.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but also at the same time, I'm like, you don't know that there's no gators right
Yeah.
there, like it's
Yeah.
the Nile.
Yeah.
But the Chinese dammed it up, so supposedly it scared all the crocs out, and they're like now in certain sections of flat
I
water.
don't know. I was watching this thing where I saw a guy he got taken under, and that was it. He was gone. And he was
Game
like a
over.
world famous kayaker,
Yeah,
and was trying to run the Nile from top to bottom, right?
Yeah.
And they went through maybe it was a notorious stretch. I don't know, but like it happened, and it was on screen, and I was like, did that just what?
yeah.
And it was real life. It wasn't like a movie.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Well, that
They're-
sucks.
they're-
That's not worth it.
Yeah, they're huge. I mean, that's what we were talking about the whole time. We're like, man, there's gators. Not only that, hippos kill more people than the crocs do, and and the water itself, like
It's brown, and you can't see anything, right?
Well, no, it was more green, but it's just gross because how, it's not anything against the Africans, but there's no proper plumbing, there's no proper litter
yeah.
service, so everything, the
Sure.
sink water, the shitter water, everything's
Yeah.
coming down into the
Yeah.
river.
Yeah,
And
it's like doing the triathlon or whatever it is in Paris at the Olympics.
yeah. I mean, like we got out of the
Probably
water.
worse.
We got out of the water, slept, and woke up the next day, and all of us had small ear infections and throat infections
Yeah.
because you get tossed in the water, everything fills up with that dirtiness, and
nothing you can do about it.
no.
Yeah. Okay, so what year was that approximately? Do you remember?
2022, summer of,
Oh wow,
I think.
that was COVID. When was COVID?
It was the end of COVID.
End of COVID. Okay.
Yeah.
So you weren't out here you weren't out here until after COVID.
Yeah, like there was no mask requirements or anything like that here. I was in Crescent Butte when that was all happening.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were here that whole winter, that whole weird winter.
No.
Okay. So, fast forward, how did you, why are you here?
Well,
Because it seems like there's a lot more, this is an awesome place, but there's a lot more exciting places that you've been. At least, more vertical, more,
Oh, yeah.
right?
I mean, I skied, the big mountain of Crescent Butte, steeps, Addy terrain, that and the other for 4 years. Got my fill on it, working 5 days a week there. They got bought out by Vail while...
Did you ever patrol there?
No.
Never,
I did
okay.
some, part-time patrol shadowing, and then I did more adaptive ski instructing, so
you
mentally
told me
and
about
physically
that.
handicapped
Yeah.
kids.
And you like that?
I enjoyed it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it all volunteer-based,
Yeah.
and it's just good to get back to the ski industry.
And was housing and everything at Crested Butte the same problems we have here, like all the...
Yeah. I mean, there's so many sacrifices. Like I lived at my last year there. I lived with this very interesting man. He's a cross-dresser, grew weed in his apartment, this, that, and the other. But it was $400 a month. So I was like, you weigh your odds. It's either do I pay an insane amount where I'm not making any money, and live, not as close. And it was a ski in, ski out condo right on it.
Oh,
so I was like, no
I can look the other way.
Yeah, it was so bad. People would be like, let's go to your place. I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
We're not going there.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No, you don't want to see that.
Okay, so how did you pick McCall?
Social media, actually, as weird as that sounds. I follow this skier, Kaylin Thorian, female. She's kind of like a pro athlete sponsored, and she just put an Instagram video of her skiing Hidden Valley, and it was tagged Brundage. And I was like, what is Brundage? And
Wait, Kaylin, not Kaylin Wright, somebody else.
I think it's Kaylin Thorian.
Okay.
She doesn't do too much skiing anymore. I don't know why, but and I was like, what the heck is Brundage? And every year after Vail or Crested Butte would close, they would close early because of the Forest Service. I would go on ski trips using the Epic Pass.
Yeah.
So I came out here to ski some epic resorts like Stevens Pass and all that. And on the way back to Colorado, I was like, let's go see what Brundage is about. I skied Targhee, which is also another awesome place. But just when I rolled into town here, stopped at Fog Lifter, met this old timer, and we're just chatting it up. He reminded me of some like good old boys back in Texas, and just like ran into a lot of good people. And the size of the town, and then the mountain vibe, talking with people, I was like, this is somewhere I could definitely work and patrol. That's not,
too gnarly and too...
Well, I'm not too worried about the
Up
gnarliness,
in
but
the air.
when the patrol group grows, we have the one shack, so we all know each other. But as the patrol grows, and the mountain's not set up for it, but bigger mountains, you don't even know half your patrol coworkers, and I didn't really want to go for that. And I knew this whole time patrolling wasn't going to be my lifelong career, so I was just going to do this for a little bit, get good skiing and ski powder.
Has it worked?
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotten really good at skiing. And
So how does the snow compare here to Crested Butte's maybe not a fair comparison, but I've been skiing a lot of places in the last 5 or 6 years, and half the time I leave, I'm like, there's better snow. Like I even in Japan, as good as Japan was, I was like, a week in Japan, I've had weeks like that in Brundage. I mean, I really have. And Japan's actually a fair comparison because it's not super steep anyway. It's kind of like the same. It's kind of a,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's just like Colorado is just so many more people, and like a powder day here, you get freshies for a couple days afterwards.
Right.
Colorado, from my experience, I mean, unless you go hike and traverse and go find these little tiny pockets, all the main stuff is skied out by 10:30 that day.
Yeah.
Like moguls to the top to bottom moguls, and it's just like if you're not there for the first couple cheers, you're not actually getting awesome powder laps. So here, you can go lap after lap after lap after lap and just have untouched turns. You're not getting the steeps, the huge drops, the big cliffs or anything like that, but if you're just trying to ski powder and have a good time with good people, it's super solid for that.
I think it's the people. I think that
100%.
of all places, when we moved here, it was the people.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the vibe. It's like you get the vibe before you get the people, but the people create the vibe, right?
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily meet people right away. Actually, you kind of do in this town.
Yeah, I mean, it was like as soon as I walked into that place, the guy was like, "Hey, man, how you doing?"
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if you saw the Texas plates or what, but it was right on spot. And a lot of people don't like to hear me say it, but I say Idaho's the Texas of the West because of the people, some of the values, and just like I want my own space, keep everything kind of natural. And another thing that Idaho and Texas have in common is Idaho is not the only place getting invaded by Californians. We are too. So we're getting forced out because the Californians are coming in, and I don't know. We share that in common, I'd say.
It's a good thing to share.
Yeah.
I remember I was in
Nothing against California.
when I was in Colorado in the '90s. Everybody was saying we were being invaded by Texans. So.
Exactly. Same thing. Yeah, same thing.
And Californians.
Yeah.
They're always part of the mix.
Yeah, I don't know how they've been migrating out for so long.
Why are they not all gone?
Yeah, why is it not an empty place?
So, what's next? Do you know? Do you have any ideas?
Yeah, gonna be so during COVID, once everything shut down in Colorado, I went back to Texas to live with my parents for a little bit, and I'm not a sit around and do nothing kind of guy, and my grandpa was always like, some of you guys should fly, get into aviation. So I looked up a flight school near the house. It was super close, and went and got my private pilot certificate, fell in love with flying, and now that's the next step. I want to fly for money. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, you should do something for money.
Yeah. Kind of getting money.
You haven't done that yet.
Yeah. I need to make some money. I want to have a family, so they need some money also.
I don't know. I think you did it right.
Yeah, it's going all right.
So let's see here. I only have one last question. I have 2 questions.
Yes, sir.
What was your favorite thing you've done to this point? And then do you have any regrets? Is there something you missed out we'll just leave it at any regrets.
Favorite thing I've done in life? Man, that's hard.
I know it is.
I'll give you top 3.
Okay.
Quitting my job and getting the outdoor exposure of diving and skiing taught me more than I could ever learn in any job, any schooling. Just living with other cultures, talking with other people, getting that world experience of, not everyone thinks the same as you. There's reasons people think of this, and it just changed my whole outlook on all these other countries. I don't know, learned a lot. Big education experience.
Yeah, my dad was always a proponent, and I've done that with my kids. Like, travel's the best educator.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, you can't even approach it with any other type of activity.
Happiness is relative, right?
Yeah.
Driving through Africa, and these kids are starving. They're playing with a stick and a rock in the street, having a blast, hooping and hollering.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, here in the U.S., we have everything you could ever want at the grasp of a fingertip. And none of us, I can't group myself in that, but we have a high depression rate and all this. So it's like what people value for happiness. It's one thing when you go traveling around, you're like, all you need is good people and something to do, a purpose in life. And to your point, travel is the best educator. Another thing, I'll just leave it at 2, just getting the pilot's license and seeing that whole side of the world, and really, because skiing and diving were my passions for a while, and I want to kind of circle those or drive those into just hobbies.
Yeah.
And then now flying is a more professional passion that I can get into and have a good living off of, and just something I can be a little bit more proud of. Because when you're 30 plus and you're like, I'm a full-time ski patroller, at least for me, I just don't find a lot of pride in that necessarily.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be too prideful or whatever. But
I get what you're saying. You're saying maybe that's not a life mission. Maybe that's.
It's a good thing to do when you're late 20s, mid 20s for a while. Have a good time.
Yeah.
If you have that opportunity. I was blessed to have the opportunity. I wasn't taking care of my parents or nothing like that. They were all doing great. Regret.
Yeah, and if you don't have one, I don't know why I threw that out there. I'm just
it's all good.
Everybody's got something they're like. Maybe regret is too strong of a term, but if I did this again, I would do it slightly differently.
Yeah.
Because obviously now I know, right? So hindsight 20/20 kind of a deal, but.
Yeah, something I probably would have done differently is either not have gone to college or chosen a different university, like a university in an area that I would have enjoyed more. That wasn't just, Alabama's the South, not much to do other than party and do all that stuff. But with that being said, I met a lot of great people, had awesome times there, have lifelong friends from there.
Yeah.
And it's not really a regret, it's just.
And it's hard. You pull that piece out of the puzzle, maybe. You wouldn't have done anything else after that because you were happy with where you were at.
Yeah.
So
that's why it's hard to answer that regret question. It's just
you're too young.
Everything.
You're too young to answer it.
Yeah, every step.
Get to my age and you'll be like, well, I probably had too many kids. No, shouldn't
have had that last one. Yeah, but no, I've been blessed, lucky life, and hopefully it keeps going.
Yeah,
it's a longevity game now.
Well, we'll keep an eye on you. It's going to be weird if you become a full-time pilot and we don't see you up here too much. That's going to be a little goofy, but
I'll be up here.
Hopefully I get some discounts on flights. Although I don't know if I want to fly with you.
That's fair. You don't have to if you don't want to, but if you're ever down in Boise and you need to ride up and don't want to drive 2 hours.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll be
there. You go.
No, I'll be around. You'll see me. I'll part-time patrol here and there, help with training and stuff. I don't want to ditch the whole mountain, but I want to buy property, investments, stuff like that, and I can't do that on this wage.
Yeah, it's a tough deal.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Thanks for doing this.
Rodney, it's a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
All right.